Welcome to this video series on frequently asked questions about the Java language. In this ongoing series of videos, we'll answer commonly asked questions about the Java language. You'll come away from the video with a solution to a problem that you as a developer may have. In fact, these questions have been asked by thousands of developers, so you're not alone. Our approach to every question is simple. First, we pose the question about the Java language, Java development, or best practices. Then we fill in any background material so the question makes sense. Next, we'll get into the details of the question and discuss it further. Then we'll come up with an answer. As a bonus, we'll go deeper on the answer and look at a code example showing you what to do and in some cases what not to do with a counterexample. Stick around until the end of every video where we'll discuss the solution from an application security point of view. We'll let you know what to watch out for to ensure your code stays secure. For more videos like this, like and subscribe to be among the first to know when we release something new. Ready to get started? Let's go. So the question we address in this video is, how can you fix the unsupported class version error exception when you run Java code? Sometimes when you execute a Java application, whether it's code that you wrote, your team wrote, or someone else provided to you, you sometimes get the following error. Unsupported major.minor version X, where XX is some decimal number. What does this mean and how can you fix it? The error means that you're attempting to run a class file that was compiled with a newer version of Java than you're using to execute the code. The exception that's thrown is Java.Lang.unsupportedClassVersionError, and it's a subclass of the Java.Lang.error class. The Java.Lang.error class always indicates a serious problem in the application that should not be caught. Error and its subclasses are regarded as unchecked exceptions and are not checked at compile time, so in that sense they're equivalent to a runtime exception. Let's say that you compiled your code with Java SE 11. The version of the compiler used is stored in the class files, something we'll look at in just a moment. If you try to run your code with Java SE version 8 runtime, the unsupported class version error will be thrown, indicating the incompatibility was detected. Let's take a look at the problem in more detail by looking at the format of a Java class. As you know, Java class files have a class extension. Class files contain bytecode, and this bytecode is executed by the Java Virtual Machine, or JVM. JVMs are available on many different platforms, and a class file generated on one platform will execute on another JVM running on a different platform. The ability to run code across platforms like this is one of the best features of Java. In order to support this, the class files have to be well-defined and maintain the metadata to run properly. There are 10 sections in a Java class file structure. The section we're interested in is called the version of class file format. It's 2 bytes long and located starting at byte offset 6. This is where we find the bytes that represent the version of the compiler used to create the class. In the table below, spread across the next few slides, we see a list of the versions of Java over the years up to the current version of Java, which is 17. In the code column, we see the decimal and hex representation of the number stored in the version of class file format location. For example, in a class file compiled with Java 17, there will be a code 61. For code compiled with Java SE 8, the code will be 52. And for code compiled with JDK 1.4, the code will be 48. When you see the unsupported error message, the version mentioned always refers to one of these codes from 45 up to 61. As new versions of Java are released, that number will increase. Note that when the error message is displayed at runtime, it always uses base 10 notation. So how can we fix this problem? We need to run the code with the version of the JRE equal to or greater than the version used to compile the code. Let's take a look at some code now and see how we can reproduce this error. Here we are in an Ubuntu Linux version 20.04 environment. I've installed OpenJDK version 8 and version 11 on this machine. Let's run the ls command to see that the directory we're in, which is called hello, has nothing in it. Now let's run the command sudo update-alternatives --config javac. This will display a list of the versions of the Java compiler we've installed on the machine and give us an opportunity to change the version in use without any need to manually change Java home or any other environment variables. When we run the command, we see by the asterisk location that Java 11 is currently the default. We'll go ahead and hit Enter to accept that as our default. Let's run the same command again, except this time we'll check on the Java command and what Java runtime we'll be using. Once again, we see that Java 11 is selected as indicated by the asterisk. We'll go ahead and hit Enter to accept that default. Now let's write a little Java code that we can easily compile. We'll use vi to create a file called helloworld.java. In the editor, we'll enter public class hello world. We'll add our main method. And finally, we'll add a system out println statement and simply print out the message hello world. We'll do a right quit and save that file. Back at the command line, let's compile the code. Remember, we have version 11 of Java-C and Java currently selected. So let's first run Java-C on the Java file. As we can see, there are no errors. Let's type ls. And now we see that we have both the Java file we created and a class file that was created by the compiler. Now let's use the Java runtime to execute the class file. To do that, we simply type in java space hello world. And we get our hello message printed out that we had put in the system out print line earlier. Let's clear the screen, and now let's change the version of the Java runtime. We'll re-enter the sudo update alternatives --config, except this time we'll use Java instead of Java-C. Now in the menu we get, let's select 2 to indicate we'll use JDK version 8 and the corresponding version of Java. Notice that we get a message displayed using /usr/lib jvm Java 8 OpenJDK AMD 64 JRE bin Java to provide user bin Java, meaning we have changed the soft link to point the Java command at Java version 8. Now let's run the hello world command again. There's no need to compile since we already have the class file that we compiled earlier. So we simply type in java space hello world. The class file is picked up and executed. And when we do, we see the error message. Notice this error message is a bit more helpful than we sometimes see. The message actually says the hello world class was compiled by a more recent version of the Java runtime. This actually seems like a mistake in the message since we didn't compile with the Java runtime, but in any event, the message is more clear. It also mentions the numbers that we saw earlier, 55 and 52. It says the class file is version 55, and the runtime only recognizes up to version 52. Let's go to the information we saw earlier that listed the version number information. If we look here, we see that Java SE 11 is version 55, and Java SE 8 is version 52. If we move down the page, we see the numbers in both places. If you recall, this is correct. We started by compiling our code with version 11 or 55, and to get the error, we tried to execute it with Java version 8 or 52. So now let's take a look at security. So when it comes to this issue, are there any security concerns we should think about? The security concerns are really indirect. Should we see a problem like this in our development environment, it's probably no big deal. We often have multiple versions of Java installed, but it would be a good idea to clean everything up. However, should we see this in a test or certainly in a production environment, then this could indicate some serious problems. It may indicate that we have an out-of-control build and release process and a poorly architected infrastructure without the proper controls and oversight needed to run a properly maintained system. Most likely, the environment is not properly patched and maintained in other ways, including the underlying operating system. It could mean the entire system is vulnerable to compromise. An unpatched system is an open invitation to hackers to compromise the system. One of the most important things we can do is to routinely patch our systems with the latest system updates in an effort to harden our systems. Failing to do so should raise red flags and should be reported to management for proper and swift remediation. A CWE related to this topic is 1104, Use of Unmaintained Third-Party Components. Thanks for watching. We hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, subscribe, and share this video with others. To get our free ebook on how to write more secure Java code, go to www.beginsecuretraining.com. When writing code, remember to always begin secure.